Before dawn painted the sky, the caravan was in motion, leaving Shari Bliss for the blasted wasteland known as the Sunken Lands. Conan followed. A grey shadow among the rocks, the Blade of Dumah, a familiar weight across his back. The land grew fouler with every league. Hardy scrub gave way to black sand that seemed to swallow light. Rocks jutted like broken teeth, twisted by ancient agonies. A profound silence descended, broken only by wind that moaned with disturbing humanity. Zaltus rode at the head on a black camel, navigating with unnatural confidence. The mercenaries followed, hands never far from swords, but their bravado was cracking. By midday the heat was forge-like, yet the sun seemed diseased, pale. The first crack appeared when the Shemite named Ghazi reined in, eyes wide. "Did you see it?" He croaked, pointing north. "A river. By Ishtar, a green and flowing river, lined with palms." The others saw nothing but desolation. Valerius rode back grim-faced. "The heat is playing tricks on your mind, Ghazi. There is no water here." "I saw it," Ghazi insisted, and there were women calling to me." Zaltus looked back with cold satisfaction. "The land remembers water," he said, "and it remembers thirst. Pay the phantoms no heed. Keep your eyes on the path ahead." But Conan, from his vantage, felt something more. The phantoms weren't mere mirages. They were bleed-through, reality growing thin, showing glimpses of what once was or what might be. The cosmic wound he'd opened was festering here, where Acheronian sorcery had already weakened the world's foundations. Throughout the afternoon, the assaults on sanity intensified. Men heard temple bells, smelled roasting meat that turned to grave stench, saw skeleton armies marching. Each vision was a hairline crack in reality. And Conan knew with grim certainty that his taking of the blade had turned those cracks into fissures. As twilight approached, they camped among monolithic stones like broken teeth. The air thrummed with wrongness. Zaltus emerged from meditation to approach Valerius. "We cannot linger here. The altar's influence waxes with the moon. We must reach the sphere itself by dawn. Travel at night. In this cursed land, trust my knowledge, Captain. Our peril increases with every moment we remain. There was cold logic in his words, and soon the caravan moved again through a night that seemed to last forever. The moon painted the world in diseased silver, and the stars looked wrong, as if they'd shifted while no one watched. Then ahead an oasis appeared, a pool of water surrounded by impossible green. The mercenaries surged forward desperately, but Conan tensed. This was no natural thing. As the first man dismounted, the rocks behind the pool moved. A colossal serpent rose, scales the color of decay, eyes burning crimson, fangs dripping with promise of death. Before the men could react, Zoltus raised his hand. Power, cold as the void, struck the monster. It convulsed once and crashed down stone dead. The mercenaries stared in awe at their savior. Zoltus produced 5 obsidian amulets, each a coiled serpent. These talismans will shield your minds. Wear them. They clamored for the protection, looping the cords around their necks. When the last was in place, Zoltus smiled and snapped his fingers. The transformation was instantaneous and horrific. Light died in their eyes. Skin pulled taut over skulls, and a phosphorescent glimmer replaced their humanity. 5 undead puppets stood where living men had been. The sorcerer's laughter was dry as tomb dust. Come, your destination awaits. The undead lurched forward, and suddenly the desert itself began to writhe. What had seemed solid ground rippled like water, and the oasis shimmered, not with heat, but with the terrible clarity of revelation. Conan's teeth bared in a silent snarl as the sorcerer's deception unraveled like a rotting shroud. This was no oasis they approached, no promise of water in the waste. The spectral outline of mighty pillars rose from the sands, ghost echoes of a temple that had ruled here when the world was young. Through their phantom substance, reality bled through. A sphere of black stone, half devoured by the hungry earth, pulsing with the slow heartbeat of something that should not live. The Black Altar, not merely a landmark, but a wound in the world's flesh, festering beneath the desert's sun. By Crom, Conan growled from his concealment, we were never lost. The sorcerer herded us here like sheep to slaughter. Every league of their torment, every phantom that had gnawed at the mercenaries' minds, All had been threads in Zaltus's web, drawing them inexorably to this place where the veil wore thinnest, where a princess's blood might crack the ancient seals and wake what slumbered in the spaces between. From hiding, Conan watched with a mixture of rage and bitter acknowledgement. He'd opened the door for such abominations. Every horror Zaltus worked was partly his responsibility. The sorcerer approached the wagon, pulling back the leather to reveal Princess Yasmila's defiant face. Your ancestor sealed the demon god Yog-Thul with royal blood, Zaltus hissed. Your blood will free him. The weakening of the veil makes this possible. A gift from powers beyond your comprehension. Conan's jaw clenched. There it was. Confirmation that his deed had enabled this atrocity. The blade across his back pulsed with eager heat, sensing his rage, his guilt transformed into purpose. He burst from hiding with a roaring roar that split the night. The Blade of Dumah sang free, its dual nature painting impossible colors. The undead turned as one, but Conan was already among them. Where fire edge touched, they burned to nothing. Where ice edge passed, they shattered into frozen shadow. 5 heartbeats, 5 unmakings. The blade devoured their unnatural existence with terrible hunger. Impossible, Zaltus breathed, composure cracking. Your pets are dead, sorcerer, Conan growled, advancing. Now for the master. But Zaltus laughed. You fool. Their deaths here only strengthen the ritual. He pressed his knife to Yasmila's throat, drawing blood. The perfect recipe to break a god's chains. The crimson drops hit the altar, and the world screamed. The Black Altar cracked, not like stone, but like reality itself, fracturing. Through those cracks poured darkness deeper than void, and with it came a sound predating human language. Yog-Thul rises. Zaltus shrieked. A tendril of living shadow wrapped around the sorcerer. His triumph became terror. My lord, I am your faithful servant. I freed you. The voice that answered violated natural law. Servant, you are sustenance. Zaltus screamed as the shadow drained him utterly, leaving unlit dust. Then the sphere exploded outward and Yog-Thul stood free. The demon god defied description, thrice man-height, constantly shifting between matter states. Multiple arms ended in void-dripping claws, its head a nightmare of wrong eyes and hungry mouths. Where it stood, reality curdled. 1,000 years of imprisonment, 1,000 years of hunger. its countless eyes fixed on Conan. But first, that sword, Dumah's fang, the Blade of... The demon god's voice caught, a sound like reality choking on itself. Its myriad eyes dilated with recognition that transcended fear. No, it cannot be. Eshnia Babarad, the fire's will within, hail. The name erupted from Yog-Thul like a wound, each syllable making the air bleed. That which unmakes, that which gives true death. Something like desperation rippled through its form, but Conan felt only grim satisfaction. The blade recognized its purpose, to destroy what should not be. You should have stayed asleep, demon, Conan snarled. I open the door and by Crom I'll close it. The battle shook the world's foundations. Yog-Thul summoned horrors, entropy tentacles, madness waves, twisted gravity. But the Blade of Dumah had drunk deep of its first demon in the scorched wastes. It knew this done.